All right. So, as we left off yesterday, we had the big event. The Israelites mourned Aaron for 30 days, as we know, and then the Aaron to Eleazar, which was a different type of thing, but yes. I don't really know what I have to say about that. It is a sad thing that Aaron had to go, but he was very old, and he lived a long and productive life. So now we're going to get into the next movements of the Israelites. What are they doing after this? They're actually starting to move into various parts of the land surrounding them. So let's go ahead and start off with a quote here. Very short, probably also by Francis Bacon, because I'm not seeing any other notation, but who knows. It's riches are for spending. That's it. Riches are for spending, period. So there's not really a lot of talk about riches, but what we will begin to discuss are the various kings and rulers of the surrounding areas of Canaan and Moab and things like that. And those people certainly had riches. They could really do what they wanted to do with the riches because they were in such abundance. I would say the type of riches that the people of Israel had was just their people. They were rich in population, they were rich in faith, and they did have certain belongings, livestock, things like that. But it's really the kings in the surrounding areas who had just the ability for wanton spending. And we'll learn about what this king here, King Malak, right? King Malak, not Malak, that was the other general term for king. This is Balak. King Balak, what he was choosing to spend his money on. So let's go ahead and get into this. It's a bit longer, but it'll go by pretty fast because we're keeping to a theme here, one single narrative. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin. When the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israel was coming along the road to Atharim, he attacked the Israelites and captured some of them. Then Israel made this vow to the Lord: "If you deliver these people into our hands, we will totally destroy their cities." The Lord listened to Israel's plea and gave the Canaanites over to them. They completely destroyed them and their towns. So the place was named Hormah. Pause, right? So this is their first defeat. They were finally ready to actually go into an official battle. So this was after Aaron's death. They had done their mourning, and then they were moving along. They were moving along the road to Atharim. And they destroyed these Canaanites and gained back their people that they were originally taken captive. So they attacked them, and they attacked back and won back their people with the Lord's help, right? Because they had a plea to the Lord. The Lord says, okay, you're ready. You're ready at this time. Let's continue to see what happens. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food." So we have heard this before, right? This is their ongoing complaint, right? Why did we leave Israel, or why did we leave Egypt? Oh, our friend is back. Come on, friend. Oh, I heard him. Hold on, we're stepping out for a second. So strange. Air Force will now cry at the door when he's ready to come in, and I thought I heard him, but he is somewhere else. No, the other little one wants to come in. Come. Alright, I guess we're leaving that open for now. The little one will not meow. She will just try to come in. Anyways. Okay. Yeah, we've heard this before. Let's see how the Lord reacts. Moses is in distress. Whenever he hears the people complain, he's distressed. The Lord is angry. So this is what happens. Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it up on a pole. Anyone who has been bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. So how creative. This is something you can't really make up. This is something, it sounds fantasy, it sounds fictional, but this is something that's very hard to just conjure up, especially at this time. Just a bunch of venomous snakes going around and biting people. Man. But you can see the Lord is very much a creative being. Notice also how the people, they're asking Moses to pray for them. The people are not praying to the Lord directly and, demanding or asking him to help them or anything like that. So again, that just shows what we have here, the hierarchy, how they do look to Moses. They do honor his authority and power and things like that. So they are asking Moses to advocate for them. So that's one thing that's been established, and it's always been established. As much as the Israelites want to try to dismantle it, or the people before them wanted to dismantle it, they really couldn't. The people that were, still alive, yes, they complained when they were hungry, but at least they were understanding of, the order of operations. I'm sure they could have prayed to the Lord. I'm sure they did pray to the Lord at other times, like the time of battle and what have you. So let's go ahead and continue. Israel sent messengers to King of Sion. The Israel sent messengers to say to Sihon, king of the Amorites. But Sihon would not let Israel pass through his territory. He mustered his entire army and marched out to the wilderness against Israel. When he reached Ahaz, he fought with Israel. Israel, however, put him to the sword and took over his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, but only as far as the Ammonites, because their border was fortified. Israel captured all the cities of the Amorites and occupied them, including Heshbon and all of the surrounding settlements. Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken him from all the land as far as Arnon. This is why the poets say, "Come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let Sihon city be restored." So Israel settled in the land of the Amorites. Alright, so this is the second victory. Even though they had a little bit of terror with the snakes, they're still strong enough, and they have the confidence from the last battle to enter into the second battle, and they won. This was a very strong army that the king of Sihon had led, and the king of Sihon actually started it just like the last one. They started it and they lost. They're a very strong army, so they took over a lot of land at this moment, and the king of Sihon originally took over Moab, like it says here. So Moab, the king of Moab, is scared at this point. Let's go ahead and continue to learn about this. Now Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites, and Moab was terrified because there were so many people. Indeed, Moab was filled with dread because of the Israelites. The elders of Moab and Midian left, taking with them a fee for divination. When they came to Balaam, they told him what Balak had said. But God said to Balaam, "Do not go with them. You must not put a curse on those people, because they are blessed." So the Moabite officials returned to Balak and said, "Balaam refused to come with us." All right, so pause right here because it's not very clear, like, who is Balaam, right? Balaam was actually a prophet that I looked up. He was a prophet who spoke directly to the Lord, much like Moses. And Balaam required certain fees. He was technically outside of the Moabite community because the Moabites did their own thing with the worship of different gods and idols and things like that. Balaam was outside of the territory of Moab, but Balaam still had a relationship apparently with Balak, who is the king of Moab. So the king of Moab, Balak, it's confusing because they're similar names, Balak, he made his officials go to see Balaam and to bring him money and ask, God, and to ask God to go ahead and put a curse on the Israelite people. So we can guess how that would turn out, right? But yes, this is just the situation. Let's go ahead. Originally, Balaam had asked the Lord, is this necessary? Should I go with them and help them with whatever they need? And God said, no, do not go with him and do not put a curse on the people because they are blessed. So Balaam originally was like, no, I'm not coming with you guys. So this is what happens next. Then Balak sent other officials, more numerous and more distinguished than the first. They came to Balaam and said, this is what Balak son of Zippor says. Do not let anything keep you from coming to me, because I will reward you handsomely and do whatever you say. Come and put a curse on these people for me. That night God came to Balaam and said, since these men have come to summon you, go with them, but only do what I tell you. So Balak is being very persistent, and he's wanting this, to take place. He's wanting to keep his city protected, right? But God's like, all right, just go with them, but you're not going to be able to do what he wants, but at least go with him just to quell his angst, the king's angst. But it turns out Balaam is getting ready to go. He's saddling up his donkey in the morning to go with the officials. But God was very angry when he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. So God is still trying to, express, this is not going to be an okay thing that you're even going, but, it is what it is, but the angel is coming to intervene at this time. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam. He was angry and had beat it with his staff. So several times the angel is coming into the path of the donkey. Balaam cannot see it. He is blind to the angel. He's not seeing what the donkey sees, but the donkey can see it, and he's refusing to go forward. And at this point, he went ahead and laid down, and it made Balaam angry, and it's unfortunate that he is beating. He actually got in trouble, and the angel was very upset with Balaam for beating his animal. It's not very nice. Anyways, the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed down low and fell face down. Let's see. So the angel was angry. The Lord is angry. Anyways, it says, well, Balaam said to the angel of the Lord. Let me just fix this really quick. Angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now if you are displeased, I will go back. The angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but speak only what I tell you. So Balaam went with Balak's officials. So, angel of the Lord, okay. Balak said to Balaam, did I not send you an urgent summons? Why didn't you come to me? Am I really not able to reward you? Well, I've come to you now, Balaam replied, but I can't say whatever I please. I must speak only what God puts in my mouth. So Balak, he's feeling an urgency. He's like, I called you, why didn't you come, blah, blah, blah. I am the king, I can give you whatever you need and whatever you want. Many riches, right? Riches are for spending. But, he can only do so much. He's limited at this time. So long story short, I left this part out, but Balaam is required to build 7 altars and offer sacrifices of oxen to the altars for the Lord. Once he does that, the Lord is granting Balaam a certain message to go ahead and tell the king. And there's several of these. He does this several times. So let's go ahead and hear the first message. Then Balaam spoke his message. Balak brought me from Aram, the king of Moab, from the eastern mountains. Come, he said, curse Jacob for me. Come, denounce Israel. How can I curse those whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those who the Lord has not denounced? And it does go on. If you would like to hear all of Balaam's messages, you can go to Numbers chapter 23, but they're all there. So that was part of the first part of his message, and he's saying, I cannot curse them, the Lord has blessed them. It says, the Lord met with Balaam and put a word in his mouth again. Go back to Balak and give him this word. Again, something to keep in mind, with each word that he's given, he is required to do these 7 sacrifices. So it's quite a big price, right? I would say big price, a large sacrifice for these messages, but this is just what the price of divination is, right? So we go back. So he went to him and found him standing beside his offering with the Moabite officials. Balak asked him, what did the Lord say? Then he spoke his message. Arise, Balak, and listen. Hear me, son of Zippor. God is not human that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? I have received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot change it. So once again, it does go on a little bit further, but he's being very, point blank, saying, I'm blessing, the Lord has already blessed, I cannot change it, so I'm going to continue to, offer this blessing. And Balak is getting increasingly angry. He's saying, I'm not asking you to come here and bless the people of Israel, I want you to curse them. But he simply cannot do that. Balaam's power is only, it's subordinate to God's power, right? So he can't do anything that opposes the Lord. That's not his type of it's not his type of prophetic call. He's a prophet of the Lord, so it doesn't make any sense. Then Balak said to Balaam, come, let me take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God to let you curse them for me from there. Which doesn't make sense. But when Balaam looked out and saw Israel encamped by the tribe, the Spirit of God came on him, and he spoke his message. How beautiful are your tents, Jacob, your dwelling places, Israel. Like valleys they spread out, like gardens beside a river, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars beside the waters. Water will flow from their buckets. Their seed will have abundant water. That was part of another message. And then we go on to one of the last messages. There's a few more after that, but our timing kind of cuts off. But this is one of the last messages here. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob. A scepter will rise out of Israel. He will crush the foreheads of Moab, the skulls of all the people of Sheth. Then Balaam got up and returned home, and Balak went on his way. So each time, I don't think the messages that Balaam was giving were without fruit for Balak, because part of the messages were describing, in what order the destruction will come to everybody outside of Israel, to their opposers, right? To the opposing forces. He was giving him almost insights on how the war would take place. Oh, there he is. My big kitty. He was giving him instructions on, how the war was going to take place and, what enemies they were going to crush. So I think Balak did get something out of these messages, even though it was not what he wanted to hear. It was still valuable for him in some way. Each message does include some violence. The last one, we see a little bit of that violence about he will crush the foreheads of Moab, the skulls of the people of Sheth. So each message does include a little bit of, D and D, death and destruction. But it's just really, it is foretelling, what is going to happen. So, yeah, that is the drama of this series. We learn a little bit about a different prophet someone outside of the Israelite community, and like we spoke about in the last video, there were many others outside of the lines that we follow in the Bible, and there's many that come after that, many in the times of the old. So we know that, and this is just one of them that we learn about. So let's go ahead and end this here. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for listening.